Stand by. The program will begin soon.
There's an example yesterday I saw of this woman who's been here. I mean, we might even play this clip. She's been here 20 years. She has 3 kids who were born here. Her kids are because of birthright citizenship, which is another subject that's coming up. And she never bothered to even try to resolve her immigration status. Not in 20 years. She has never tried to resolve her immigration status. Not through Republican presidents, not through Democratic presidents, nothing. And so now, she's worried about being deported because they put out the sob story of this woman. Well, that's not the average person they're even looking at right now. The average person they're looking at, crossed in the last 3 years, are CNN is cutting jobs to embrace the digital future. No, they're cutting jobs because, as I like to say, they suck. CNN is undergoing a significant restructuring, planning to lay off about 200 employees, which constitutes approximately 6% of its workforce. This move is part of a broader strategy under CEO Mark Thompson to pivot towards a digital-first approach, focusing on expanding digital subscriptions and reducing costs from traditional TV operations. Wait a minute. Didn't they already try the CNN subscription service, which failed miserably? Which, if you truly have compassion for trans kids, you would allow them to all go through puberty, because 90% of kids who think they're trans change their mind once they go through puberty. That puberty is the fix for most of the problems. But you guys want the medicalization of kids and sterilization of kids and medical and surgical altering of kids who can't make that decision at 12 years old or 13 years old. Asks, why is it when I try to show empathy and concern, people always misconstrue it? Last time I asked someone if their mom at least got a good check from the clinic that botched the abortion. Oh. Oh, God. Damn it, AD. I think you just need to find a gentle way.
Stand by. The program will begin soon.
I would be willing to bet everything I own that submitting a 22-minute video montage that shows the most egregious acts of violence you can find from that day, when the defendant in question is on that video for only 6 seconds and the scene walking calmly, is highly prejudicial and a violation of the defendant's due process rights. The person was found guilty and sentenced to 19 months in prison. Now, it took 2 hours to read through all of the documents that were in the case file. Every motion submitted by the defendant was denied. Every motion by the defendant was denied. How often does that happen? And every motion submitted by the government was granted. They turned a trespass misdemeanor that would have resulted in a $50 ticket into 5 misdemeanors and a felony charge by charging the defendant with a statute that would have required the Secret Service to rope off the section he was in, which they did not. They also charged him with a statute that would have required them to prove Mike Pence was in the building at the time he walked through that corridor. He was not. And they used an Enron statute that the Supreme Court struck down. If you accept a pardon, you are admitting guilt. Period. That's the, because you can't be pardoned if you're not guilty.
Whether he can preemptive pardon, whether he can issue President's reportedly asking his staff whether he can issue preemptive pardons for himself, his family members, Rudy Giuliani. There's a simple answer: no. No, Mr.
Oh,
that
you
would be
can't?
a gross abuse
Oh,
of the presidential
it's a
pardon authority.
gross abuse of presidential pardon authority. Well, there you go. You accepted a pardon, Adam Kinzinger. You think you may have committed a crime. Oh, here, Jamie Raskin. Dirty Q-tip. Dirty Q-tip, Jamie Raskin. What else? What did he have to say?
Well, the seeking of pardons is
Yes, it's only on
powerful
one side.
demonstration of the consciousness of guilt, or at least the consciousness that you may be in trouble.
Jamie
And that's
Raskin.
what's so shocking
Did he get a
about
pardon
this.
also? Wasn't he on
Well,
that committee?
The seeking of pardons is...
He was on that committee. I'm curious if you're going to condemn that part. Are you going to condemn that pardon?
You know, Joe Biden pardoned a lot of people. Yeah, he should answer for that and explain.
Lots of murderers, lots of drug dealers, lots of people who killed people. Commuted the sentence of a couple murderers. One drug dealer who people died from taking the drugs that they sold them.
Stand by. The program will begin soon.
The Obama Aniston rumors have gone wild. Rumors have emerged on social media that suggest Barack and Michelle Obama might be heading towards divorce, with speculators thinking Barack Obama to actress Jennifer Aniston. Those rumors have gained traction following Michelle Obama's absence from Jimmy Carter's funeral and the inauguration, and are based on tabloid stories and social media speculation without solid confirmation from the individuals involved. So far, they're still rumors, and I don't know why people are perpetuating them, but it is kind of fun to perpetuate rumors like that. No one's come out to, out and out deny anything. That's the weird part.
We should just take a deep breath and acknowledge the audacity.
The audacity!
Of a president who's so clearly concerned about his own criminal culpability.
Oh my God, his own criminal culpability and his son's business dealings. I know that they're talking about Joe Biden, aren't they?
And that of his family members.
Like the boy asked, are cats really soul suckers? Yes. Yes. That's why I'm not into cats. Dogs, man. I'm a dog guy. Avocado Diablo, is there an aisle in the grocery store that is less objectionable to have sex in? Where do you come up with this shit? Dude.
Has done something no person in the world has ever done before. A dead man, a dead politician has risen.
Yes.
Somebody who 4 years ago at Davos, he's buried, a dead.
And I wonder how many people at Davos have been funding Donald Trump's demise that has failed. I wonder how many people at Davos, again, let me say it again. I wonder how many people at Davos have been funding what they had hoped would be Trump's demise. I bet you there's a few of them there. And it didn't work, did it now? Didn't work now, did it?
Politically known to me. He's now returned. This is the greatest comeback in political history of a politician. And then, therefore, he thinks he can do anything.
At the end of the show, every day on my show, if I put something on the screen or I'm talking about it, or it's a topic or an article that I'm presenting in this show, I provide links to every single thing that I've talked about, and even more, the ones I didn't even get to. I drop them in the chat at the end of the show, and also I drop them in the description. So if you want to find these articles, they will be in the links at the end of the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, the one and only Dawg Knight.
Just as we're joking about boomer tech. Good morning, everybody. How you doing? Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I'm your host, Marty, also known as PDawgKnight on the internet. Welcome back to the Dawg Knight Channel, where every once in a while, Streamlabs gives me the business, and I'm here. I'm finally, got it going. So it's all's good. Let's just say hi and get it going because there's a lot of stuff I got to get to. So let's just do that. I'm no chit chat, no, happy banter. Although I did forget the holidays. Okay, the holiday calendar. Let's see what's on the holiday calendar today. Holy crap. We'll put that over here. Oh my God. All right. Anyway, first in the chat today, Avocado Stabby, of course, twice beat everybody here because of my little issue. So you got the bell. Who else is here? Me. Mike Savage, Blarg 2.0, because he had to do it twice. Number one is here. Good morning, Kara Soldier, Bookworm Addict. How you doing? Ms. Wild Wolf made it back. I had to send you a link. Attack Alpaca, good morning. My favorite Canadian Jaeger Ponies here. Blue Eyed Scream, Tyler F, Green Badger Outdoors, and that's it. Because everyone's probably confused. Although some people are just, strolling in as the thing happens. Hello, Anna Lynn, too. Had a little problem with Streamlabs. I'm having a trouble with Streamlabs every day. I haven't been able to figure out how to fix it. It resets every day, so I gotta restart the thing every day and then log in, which usually you can just close it and open it back up and you're still on. Every time I close it, it resets to nothing. And so I have to do all my settings every single day, and I can't figure out why it is. I've contacted them several times, and everything they've said to do has not worked. So who knows? We'll figure it out someday. Someday, some way. Desert Tramp, good morning. I see you in the chat. Anyway, and then also thanks to people who have contributed to the show already by doing that thing. The links and stuff like that. So where are we at? Wait, Dog, read up on the Omaha Massacre sometime. It's within living memory. Oh, good Lord. Someone's asking me about... someone's talking to me about Omaha because I grew up in Omaha, and Omaha's in the news today. Anyway, thank you, Miss Wild Wolf, for tweeting out the show. Greatly appreciate it. Also... Green Badge Outdoor with a let's go. Let's talk, and also retweeting the show. Tyler F, thank you. And Ms. Wild Wolf again with the let's F and go. I don't know if is that a groundhog? What is that? Or is it a beaver? I don't know. Well, beavers and groundhogs are different. That looks like a groundhog. I don't know. Whatever. All right. Look up the Omaha Massacre. Well, you know what? Let's see. I want to see what this guy's tweeting at me about. Omaha Massacre. Okay, Omaha Massacre. Let's see. Let's look that up. And I know this is not of interest to you yet, but it may be after I read this. The Omaha Massacre, like to Omaha race ride 1919. During the time of 10,000 white people stormed Douglas County Courthouse in Omaha, demanding the release of Will Brown, 41-year-old black man. Why did they bring that up? What is let's see. Let me ask this. I know this is and a Ric Flair woo from Tyler F. There we go. Tyler F Tyler Alexander, excuse me. Tyler F and Tyre Alexander here. What up, Tyre Alexander. The Pope, Tyre Ennis, third Blessed Lich, all those names. So anyway, yeah, this is something. It's similar to the Black Wall Street thing. What does Black Wall Street have to do anything? Well, that's a good question. And I don't know what the relevance of this is. I grew up in Omaha. I know all about it. Are you talking about living memory? What are you talking about? I want to argue with this motherfucker because I don't even know why this person brought it up. The Omaha Massacre happened in 1919, and he says, Dawg, read up on the Omaha Massacre sometime. It's within living memory. I want to tell this dumb shit. I'm a black man who grew up in Omaha. I know all about Omaha, you dumbass. Teacher, writer, physician, rural, abortion, Second Amendment. Is the Second Amendment right? He has parody account. What's a parody account? This person, it's supposedly a parody account, but surely has a lot of left-wing talking points. Do I want to argue with someone on Twitter while I'm on my show? I don't know. Hello, GDSOB, Lewis, Bookworm Addict, Ms. I said Ms. Wildwolf, and everyone else is here. Oh, some people on the internet. Does anyone, let me ask you something. Do you know anyone who has 1919, the year 1919 would be within their living memory? Because they'd be 106 fucking years old. So it's not within living memory. No, it is a boomer rant coming in. You know, people piss me off on the internet. Anyway, let's do the show. Let's do the flipping show. Today's special holiday is, you know, because I always try to put the holidays out there. National Dance Like a Chicken Day. National Dance Like a Chicken Day. Forget your worries and shake those tail feathers. Have fun with friends, families, and get group. That's, if you're from Wisconsin, yeah, the chicken dance is a staple at every public event. And a lot of Minnesota events too. But it's, for some reason, whenever I do something in Wisconsin, I go to a wedding in Wisconsin, or you go to this festival in Wisconsin, inevitably you're gonna hear the chicken dance polka. I don't know if it's really called the chicken dance polka, but that one. And it's hilarious. Yeah, it's everywhere. It sure is. It's funny. Anyway, it's also International Chihuahua Appreciation Day. Fuck. No, those dogs, I hate Chihuahuas. They're nasty little creatures. They're mean. No. National Buttermilk Biscuit Day. Now there, I'm with you. National Butter. Grab yourself a good buttermilk biscuit. It's hard to find people who make good biscuits though. Surprisingly, it's funny because at what is it that the Popeye's chicken, they used to have pretty good biscuits, but their quality has not been good lately. I'm trying to think. Who makes the Cheddar Bay biscuits? Who makes those? Is that Red Lobster with the Cheddar Bay biscuits? Those are pretty damn good. But this is National Buttermilk Biscuit Day, also World Stationery Day, National Decency Day. Make National Decency Day special this year. Express kindness and show respect and be compassionate to all those around you. Fuck that. World Facilities. It's still World Facilities Management. How many damn days does World Facilities Management get? Good God. National Bruce Day if your name's Bruce. Doodah Day. What? What is Doodah Day? That sounds racist. Oh, the Doodah Day. That's... Stars and Stripes Forever Day. Yes, that I like that one. Break out your American flag. National Third Shift Workers Day. Yeah, I know a few of those. National Receptionist Day, Paraguay Independence Day, and Spinal Cord Injury Awareness Day. So there you go. There's your holidays for today. What else? Also, of course, it is Hump Day. And I didn't pick out a favorite Hump Day one, although as I was scrolling, I did kind of like this, because this is video of the street from the motorcade of President Trump. I think going through, where is he going through here? Is he going through motorcade? This is in Qatar. In Qatar, the President of the United States motorcade had a viewing of this. How appropriate for Hump Day. Here we go. There we go. This is what he saw from the motorcade. A bunch of dudes sitting on camels in Qatar. I'm sorry, Qatar. I know someone makes fun of me when I said Qatar, because that was kind of it was a joke a long time ago, but no one would know it anyway. It's Qatar for those who want me to pronounce it correctly. Anyway, yeah, from the motorcade, a honor guard of camel jockeys. So there you go. Beautiful. From Qatar. I've been saying Cutter forever just because I made that joke one time. And so anyway, as I scrolled through the Hump Day post, it took a long time before. Oh, there we go. Here's one for Avocados Diablo. I'm not even. This is no explanation necessary on this one. Oh, the very next one I can't show. So let's make sure I got this on the screen correctly. This is for Avocados Diablo. Happy Hump Day. Yeah, she's upside down for some reason. So there you go, on some kind of workout machine, or I don't know what the hell she's doing. She's just hanging there. No comments. All right. Anyway, and then so those threads are there. What else is happening? Cybertrucks. Speaking of which, in where is it? Qatar's police and fire people. Speaking of Qatar. I'm sorry. Hello, Special Cat Acid on the honorable mention list of favorite Canadians, and Reaction Puerto Rico's here. So Cybertrucks are trending because apparently in Qatar, police are now rolling in red Tesla Cybertrucks. Elon Musk's ride of the future just became the official motorcade escort. Even the cops love Teslas. Yeah, I don't know. I'm still not into the electric car thing, but hey, you'd think in an oil-rich nation too that they'd be concerned about driving stuff that on electricity, but maybe they produce their electricity using oil. So we're all still putting and laughing at Cybertrucks as they drive by, right? I mean, I'm gonna anyway. Well, whatever. Apparently in Qatar, the Cybertrucks are your police escorts. And there's an Audi there too, so maybe they just dug out the Cybertrucks they think that would please the President of the United States. So that's why that's trending. Yippee. What else? Here's why Omaha's trending, by the way. Omaha's trending because they have a new mayor. Omaha now has a Democrat mayor. As someone says, soon to be even bigger shithole than it already is. Omaha is not a shithole, okay? Parts of Omaha are, just like every major city. But Omaha is actually a very nice town. It's pretty clean and has a great downtown and a cool ballpark for their minor league team. And they host a lot of Olympic trial events, particularly in swimming for some reason. They've held the U.S. Olympic trials in swimming for the last, I think, 3 Olympics. And it's actually a nice town. Old Market's nice, and it's growing. It's a nice modern city. But something about this new mayor of Omaha. So this call to activism account on X, the app from Twitter, is one of these Democrat shill accounts. And they seem to think that Omaha getting a Democrat for a mayor is, quote, major breaking news in a defeat that has left MAGA stunned. Democrat John Ewing Jr. has just won the mayoral race in deep red Omaha, Nebraska, defeating 12-year GOP incumbent Mayor Gene Stothert. This makes him the first black mayor in the history of the city. Omaha was the 6th largest Republican-led city in the nation. Notice I said was. This spells disaster for Republicans in the midterms. Okay, let's analyze this as a black man from Omaha, Nebraska, where I grew up. First of all, Omaha is not a deep red city by any stretch of the imagination, okay? In fact, there are probably, there's more registered Democrats in Omaha than there are registered Republicans. It is a city. It's a blue city for the most part, but Mayor Gene Stothert, who I haven't been in Omaha, lived in Omaha since she was mayor, or I think was a popular mayor. So you know what? It doesn't matter if you're Democrat or Republican. If you have a popular mayor, you might win a few terms, but whatever. Also, here's the other problem. It doesn't spell disaster for the midterms in any stretch of the imagination either, because, for example, Omaha's in the 2nd congressional district of Nebraska, but it's not all of the 2nd congressional district of Nebraska. It has several surrounding towns that are still pretty red, and towns around it. So it's like, I don't know why they think this is, yes. And also, Omaha's had several Democrat mayors. It's not unusual for Omaha to have a Democrat mayor. In fact, it's more unusual for Omaha to have a Republican mayor. So just saying, as a black man who grew up in Omaha, I know Omaha enough to know that it is not a deep red state. In fact, Nebraska splits its electoral votes. It gets 3 electoral votes in the. It used to only get 2, but it has 3 now because Omaha grew so fast. The reason Nebraska originally split their electoral votes, is because of Omaha. Omaha felt left out because the rest of the state would always nullify its electoral votes, and then Nebraska's electoral votes would all go to Republicans. Well, Omaha, which has undue influence on the entire state because most of the population of Nebraska is in Omaha. It's like Minnesota. Most of the population of Minnesota is in the Twin Cities, Minneapolis, St. Paul. Well, same thing in Omaha. It's a huge population center in a sparsely populated state. So they wanted more power, and so they split the electoral vote. But anyway, it does not, in any stretch of the imagination, spells disaster for Republicans. It's embarrassing that they even said that. A black Democrat beat out the longest-serving incumbent mayor in the country with 20-point Dem swing in, get this, Omaha, Nebraska. Omaha is a majority Democrat city. So anyway, lots of people are very excited about this. And said he won 55 to 44%, whatever. It makes no difference. And it's just like, it's been a majority Democrat city my entire life. So, but they're very excited about it. Boy, they are just crowing over this. Huge flip. Oh, whatever. Here, in fact, let me just make a simple post. Fun fact. Omaha has been a majority for a very long time. I'm not going to post that. Fuck it. Anyway, they are very excited about it. And whatever. All right, moving on. Did you hear about, I did not hear about this. Hassan Piker, you know Hassan Piker, right? He's kind of pro-terrorist, whatever. Whatever. It's Chink's nephew. Apparently was detained at a U.S. airport. I'm trying to figure out why. Hassan Piker, the far left streamer on Amazon's Twitch with over 6 million followers across social media, was detained by U.S. Customs and Border Protection at Chicago's O'Hare Airport. Piker, who openly backs Houthi attacks on civilian shipping in the Red Sea, claims he was targeted for his views on foreign policy and stance against President Donald Trump. So let's see. Oh, damn. He was asked questions for 15 minutes, hardly in a position. Yeah, I don't know, man. Let's see. He is boasting. Okay. A designated terrorist organization. Okay, I see. Detained by U.S. Customs Border Protection at Chicago's O'Hare International Airport on Sunday, boasting over 6 million followers across social media, openly supporting the Houthis, a designated terrorist organization. Piker, who was raised in Turkey, previously said that America deserved 9/11 and stated Representative Dan Crenshaw, who lost an eye during his deployment in Iraq, literally lost his eye because some mujahideen, a brave fucking soldier, fucked his eye hole with their dick. That's Hassan Piker. Hello, Blue-Eyed Scream. Anyway, Piker, returning from France, complained on X, formerly known as Twitter, that CBP officials quizzed him about his views on Trump, Israel, and Houthis and Hamas, claiming the insane situation was an attempt to silence him. It's very obvious that they knew exactly who I was, he told followers, framing the inspection as a political witch hunt. Aww, you don't like political witch hunts now. Aww. U.S. officials denied Piker's claims, with spokesman Trish McLaughlin saying he was lying for likes and adding claims that his political beliefs triggered the inspection are baseless. The CBP added, our officers are following the law, not agenda, and that Piker was released promptly after a lawful check. Notably, Piker is not merely pro-Palestinian or anti-Trump. In a recent debate with Ethan Klein, a liberal YouTuber, Piker stated, "I believe what the Houthis are doing to implement a blockade on the Red Sea is a good thing, 10 toes fucking down. They are on the morally right side of an incident in which Houthis terrorists hijacked a civilian vessel and held a number of Filipino sailors hostage for around a year." Piker said, "It is a show of force to stop other commercial shipping from going through." Why would you want to stop commercial shipping, you dickhead? Hello, JB. What's up? They literally bankrupted an entire Israeli port. I'd say that's numbers on the fucking board, baby. As recently as March, Piker told us follows: "If you cared about Medicare fraud or Medicaid fraud, you would kill Rick Scott." Okay, what? Last April, responding to comments by Senator Tom Cotton on anti-Israel protesters, Piker shared an image of an improvised firearm design in what is widely interpreted as a call to assassinate the GOP lawmaker. What is wrong with this? Well, I don't need to ask what's wrong with him. Here's him talking about his ordeal.
Are you ready for this?
Go ahead.
I believe
Are you ready for
what
this?
the Houthis are doing in terms of stopping Israel doing a genocide
this is him.
to implement a blockade on the Red Sea is a good thing. 10 toes fucking down. They are on the morally right side. Don't you also think they're on the morally right side?
What have they done?
You're supposed to.
Hold on.
You're saying that it's a genocide.
What have they
What
done?
the fuck are they supposed to do?
They hijacked a boat that had nothing to do with Israel? Like fucking
That's
bravo.
not true. That's not true.
Really? What was that? What did it have to do with Israel?
Filipinos?
It was literally owned by an Israeli.
It was partially owned. Is a big multi-conglomerate company that was partially owned by an Israeli.
Yes.
It was bound for fucking for Turkey from India.
What do you mean?
There was they kidnapped five totally unrelated Filipino fucking prisoners and kept them prisoners for a year.
In your fucking video, are you going to take that back too now? Now you admit that you were wrong on that
Take
part
what
too?
back? I didn't hear
Wow,
you.
what are we on? 4? 5? How many points have you actually backtracked
I don't know
on
I don't know what you're accusing me of. What was I wrong about?
You said in your video that it had nothing to do with Israel. You claimed that it wasn't owned by an
Partially
Israeli
owned by an Israeli
conglomerate.
guy?
You were wrong.
Partially owned by an Israeli guy? It's British owned. It's owned by a British company.
It is an Israeli
It's
conglomerate
owned by a
that owns
British
the
company.
fucking ship.
So it's owned by a British
You
company.
literally claimed that it was owned by Isle of Man. It was an Isle of Man ship.
It is.
Like
Oh my
you
God.
think all of these.
What's today? Wednesday? I don't care. I don't care. FTG son. You dickhead. There. Another news. This is a head scratcher, and I don't know what to think about it because I just saw it for the first time this morning. A judge has reduced the Menendez brothers' sentence, and now they are eligible for parole. A Los Angeles judge has reduced the sentences of Eric and Lyle Menendez, making them eligible for parole after 35 years in prison for the murder of their parents. In the true crime case that gripped America in the 1990s, the Menendez brothers were convicted of first-degree murder after they brutally shot and killed their father, Jose, and their mother, Kitty, a former beauty queen. In the first prosecution, the brothers walked due to 2 hung juries and a mistrial after the defense successfully argued they killed their parents in a panic after confronting their father about years of sexual abuse. 2 years later, when prosecuted a second time, the sexual abuse failed to sway the jury and the brothers were convicted. In 2023, the Menendez brothers' claims of sexual abuse gained some credibility when Roy Rossello, a former member of the boy band Menudo, alleged that Jose Menendez repeatedly sexually abused him as a teenager. As the New York Times reported at the time, Rossello, a former member of Menudo, a boy band in the 80s that became a global sensation, is coming forward with an allegation that he was sexually assaulted as a teenager by Jose Menendez. The assertion was aired on Tuesday in a segment on the Today Show and outlined some of the findings of a 3-part docuseries scheduled to air on Peacock, the streaming service from NBC Universal, beginning on May 2nd. The series, Menendez plus Menudo, Boys Betrayed, based on reporting by the journalist Robert Rand and Neri Enklin, is largely focused on Mr. Rosello. He describes an encounter with Mr. Menendez, but also recounts separate incidents of sexual abuse that he says were inflicted on him by one of Menudo's former managers when he sang as part of the group. In the docuseries, Rosello described being drugged and violated by Jose Menendez when visiting his New Jersey home at the age of 14. I know what he did to me, Rosello says of Menendez in the documentary. In another clip, Rosello points to a photo of Jose Menendez and said, "That's the man who violated me." I'm using that word in place of their chosen words. That's the pedophile. So anyway, so that may be why the judge is making them eligible for parole. Now, let's scroll down here a little bit because they're still talking about this. Since the explosive allegations were made public, the Menendez brothers sought to have their charges reduced to manslaughter, while Los Angeles County Superior Judge Michael Jessic did not reduce the charges. He reduced the brothers' sentences from life without parole to 50 years to life. Per the Associated Press, the brothers would be eligible for parole under California's youthful offender law because they committed the crime under the age of 26. So, look, anyone have a problem with this? I guess I don't. First of all, life imprisonment is for someone who are that young. I guess, I don't know, 50. Look, if they have to serve prison 35 years before parole, I guess it's okay. I don't know, but still, you should never kill. Let's just say you should never kill your parents. Okay, let's just put it that way. All right, moving on. Syria is trending because Trump's doing his tour of the Middle East. Don't know the case and not starting out. Yeah, that was a pretty famous case. The Menendez brothers killing their parents brutally, not just like brutally killing their parents. Yeah, that case was crazy. Anyway, Syria is trending because Trump was also in Syria while most Americans. Syria is trending because Trump is ending sanctions on Syria to give them a chance at greatness. This is in. President Donald Trump has announced that he's ordering the cessation of sanctions against Syria in order to give them a chance at greatness at a Saudi-U.S. investment forum. The America First leader said Syria has seen so much misery and death over the years of civil war, and he hoped the new regime would hopefully succeed in stabilizing the country and keeping the peace. They've had their share of travesty, war, killing for many years, Trump remarked Tuesday, saying his administration had already taken steps towards normalizing relations with the country. He revealed that the Saudi Crown Prince and Prime Minister Mohammed bin Salman and Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan had played a significant role in persuading him to make these moves. So the Syrians are very happy about this. Syrians are celebrating the streets. Someone here says, while most Americans probably didn't even hear that President Trump lifted sanctions in Syria, Syrians have filled their streets in celebration. For many, this is life-changing news. So hopefully that country will stabilize after all the shit they've gone through. Now, someone here says any normalization deal with Syria must include returning the millions of Syrians who left for Europe, Turkey, and Lebanon during the war. Jelani must take them all back, assured not to harm anyone and rebuild Syria. The war is over. Assad is gone. It's time to go home. Anyway, Syrians are very happy about this. I don't know what to think about that. I have a friend who's from Syria. I used to work with him in the St. Paul companies, and he owns a restaurant here in my town. And it's a good guy, and he and his family fled Syria because Christians were not. Let's just say Christians were not exactly welcome there. Although there was a lot of Syrian Christians, his family immigrated here, and he's a good guy. I'm gonna have to ask him what he thinks about that because. He was not a fan of Assad, let's put it that way. Good morning, Rick Ashbringer. How you doing? Is there still fighting going on there? Apparently the war is over in Syria. It's in the process of stabilizing. So I guess that's good news for Syria. All right. Also, Trump has urged Syrian President Ahmad al-Shara to sign the Abraham Accords, recognizing Israel. Now that's going to be a big one. President Trump urged Syrian President Ahmad al-Shara to sign on to the Abraham Accords during a brief meeting in Saudi Arabia early Wednesday, one day after lifting the sanctions on the war-torn Middle Eastern country. The two leaders met on the sidelines of a Gulf Cooperation Council gathering in Riyadh, with Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan phoning into the conversation. Syria currently doesn't recognize Israel's statehood, and the Abraham Accords were just one of Trump's requests to Syria in an effort to normalize relations between the two neighbors. So that would be huge if that happened, and it would piss off all the Democrats because Trump would have another success. But anyway, Trump told the Syrian leader to deport all foreign terrorists from his country, including Palestinians, to help the U.S. prevent the return of ISIS in the region and take control of terror detention centers in northeastern Syria, per the White House. The president's announcement that he was lifting sanctions on Syria prompted a standing ovation from Saudi leaders and businessmen at the investment forum on Tuesday. Quote, "I felt very strong that this would give them a chance," Trump said in the GCC meeting. On Wednesday, gives them a good, strong chance. It was my honor to do so. So, very interesting. Very interesting. No, not Omar. Omar is from Somalia, not Syria. Blue-eyed scream. So, no such luck. Anyway, by the way, AD, do you have a link to the Trump speech in Saudi Arabia? I have not seen it. Maybe, I don't know how long it is, but maybe we can look at that today. All right, Amir's trending because Emir of Qatar, the president, said, "You are the first American president to officially visit Qatar." So we are very honored. As we know, the president visited Qatar, and there's a big brouhaha about a plane or some shit. And I think they need to think that one through. It's fine if Qatar gifts a plane to the United States of America. I question the idea that Trump can keep the plane with his foundation post the gift. It doesn't look good. Plus the fact that they're building like a $5 billion golf course complex in Qatar, the Trump organization, which Donald Trump is not running, but it doesn't look good. But I haven't completely thought that one through. It does not. Let's just say it doesn't look good. Let's see. President Trump salutes. Oh, here's another video here. President Trump salutes as somebody in Syria, or where is this? Hang on a second. President Trump salutes as the Star Spangled Banner plays in Doha, Qatar. Trump is standing next to Emir Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani. That's a lot of words for a name. The leader of Qatar, having opposed this again, who respects the U.S. national anthem. So here's. Not to be rude, but I'm going to cut off our national anthem because I don't feel like standing right now. Also, Trump was greeted with the red carpet by the Emir and the elite military guard. $400 million in saving the U.S. taxpayer with the 747 they gifted our military. So yeah, apparently the plane is actually being gifted to the United States, not to Trump personally. So I don't know. I don't know what's coming out of that meeting, but that's trending, obviously. Derek Chauvin is trending. Oh my gosh. I saw this and I was like, what? I mean, it could happen, but I think what's weird. Okay, here. Well, let me tell you why Derek Chauvin's trending, by the way. Apparently, Minneapolis and state leaders prepare for possible Derek Chauvin pardon. Now, I got to explain something here because it's not like even if Derek Chauvin's pardoned from federal charges, he's in jail for state charges, not federal charges. But some people are saying Derek Chauvin's a political prisoner. Someone here, Marjorie Taylor Greene, I strongly support Derek Chauvin being pardoned and released from prison. George Floyd died of a drug overdose. I can't argue with that based on the original autopsy that they released before they said that it could possibly be because of his neck thing. Have you seen Eden Alexander refuse to meet with Netanyahu after being released by Hamas? No, I did not see that. Derek Chauvin. So anyway, the story here is, here's from KSTP, the local ABC affiliate. Multiple sources told 5 Eyewitness News that Governor Tim Walz, the Minnesota National Guard, Mayor Jacob Frey, and Hennepin County Sheriff DeWanna Witt have all been briefed on preparations for possible civil unrest if President Donald Trump pardons Derek Chauvin. So here it is. Former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin for his federal conviction after killing George Floyd, which was overkill anyway because he's not getting out of prison. Sources also told KSTP the Minnesota Department of Corrections is ready to pick up Chauvin. Oh, because he's at a federal penitentiary in Arizona, and bring him back to Oak Park Heights Prison in Minnesota to serve the remainder of his 22.5-year sentence. Over the weekend, Attorney General Ellison told MSNBC that Chauvin will not be set free. He still owes Minnesota 22.5 years, and he's going to do it either in Minnesota or somewhere, but he's not getting out, said Ellison. Then on Monday, when asked about the possibility of a pardon, Governor Walz told reporters no indication of whether they're going to do it or not, but I think it behooves us to be prepared for it. With this presidency, it seems like something they would do. Why? I don't know. Well, who knows? So I don't know who's discussing this in Washington, D.C. Has anyone else heard of this? That there's even a possibility that they would pardon Derek Chauvin? But I got to tell you, the idea that Mr. Floyd did not contribute to his own demise is pretty weird. I thought for sure it would be a manslaughter charge, not a murder, because Derek Chauvin didn't intend to kill George Floyd. It's just a weird way they did that whole trial to me. But did he have some culpability as far as not being lack of situational awareness? As I've said many times, that the guys, hey, Derek, dude, you have your knee on his shoulder. By the way, if you actually watch the video of the whole thing, he has his knee on his neck for a moment, and then he moves it immediately to his shoulder so as not to compress his neck. And that's why I say, but the only photo you get is that split-second moment when it's on his neck. That's the funny thing about it. And so that's why everyone says, oh, his knee was on his neck. No, it was on his shoulder, and he asked to be laid down because he said he was having trouble breathing when he got in the car and that he was claustrophobic. So he asked to be laid on the ground. It's the damnedest case I've ever seen. But the wokies got their pound of flesh and some prison time for Derek Chauvin. It's a strange case. So anyway, censure is trending because apparently, remember that Congresswoman who was shoving the officer at the ICE facility? Well, Congressman William Timmons has just introduced a resolution to censure Representative McIver of New Jersey for her actions at Delaney Hall ICE facility on May 9th. Representative McIver's unlawful entry and shameful assault on ICE officers is beneath the office she holds. She deserves to be censured for this reckless stunt. So a couple other people are agreeing with that. And yeah, the Democratic representative who stormed Newark, New Jersey ICE facility may now be removed from their committee assignments too. Congressman Buddy Carter has filed a new House measure to remove Robert Menendez Jr., Bonnie Watson Coleman, and LaMonica McIver from their committee assignments. So it may be a FAFO moment, or who knows if the Republicans will puss out on that one. We'll see. Let's see. No tax on Social Security is trending because apparently in this budget, that the big beautiful budget that's coming out, they seem to have forgotten that little part of the no tax on Social Security. They are offering some kind of like a $4,000 increased deduction or whatever for people who are on Social Security, but that's not what was promised. So lots of people are bitching about that, and good. They should be. No tax on tips, no tax on Social Security, no tax on overtime. Those are 3 things Trump talked about, and we would like to hold you motherfuckers to it. we'll see. We'll see what happens. Jake Tapper's trending because I think his book's about to come out or may have come out or, whatever. And so lots of people are laughing at Jake Tapper. Now that Jake Tapper's written an entire book on Joe Biden's mental and physical failings, he owes Laura Trump an apology for ridiculing her correct calling out of Biden for not being up for the job on CNN, which Clay Travis was on Sean Hannity. We're not going to play the clip. Hey, Jake Tapper, for your hard-hitting book on how everyone knew Biden had dementia and covered it up, you asked Barack Obama about this about this tweet, right? Which he's saying, Barack Obama said, bad debate nights happen. Trust me, I know, but this election is still a choice between someone who has fought for ordinary folks his entire life and someone who only cares about himself, between someone who tells the truth and who knows right from wrong and will give it to the American people straight, and someone who lies to his teeth for his own benefit. Last night didn't change that, and that's why so much is at stake in November. Yeah, as they're about to stab him in the back. So, and people are mad at Jake Tapper for this. And this clip by Mays, they put together a string of Jake Tapper defending Joe Biden's fitness for office. And then finally, what I want to talk about today is the beating that the Allstate executive took at this Senate hearing on insurance. And I wish I had, I want to do the longer clip of Jake Hawley just ripping this guy to shreds. There's several clips here. Well, let's start with the main one of Jake Hawley here. What happened to the one? I had the whole one. Anyway, let's just start with this clip. This is a great, and hang on, let's get full screen here. Hang on. There we go. All right, let's just this is a hearing about Allstate not paying claims correctly or doing everything they could to not pay claims. They had a whistleblower come out, a couple whistleblowers come out and talk about the internal workings of Allstate, and Jake Hawley is not having it. Listen.
That's not what they testified to. That's not what they just testified to. You just heard sworn testimony from multiple adjusters, and they said it happened. One adjuster had only ever worked for you over years in the industry, and he said he was repeatedly directed by you, by your company, Allstate, to change factual findings, to delete material in his reports, to alter his reports, to make them factually incorrect, all with the purpose of driving down the award and padding your profits.
I disagree with his statement.
Well, you know, I have to notice that, your profits have never been better. They're really quite extraordinary. Fiscal year 24, Allstate had $64 billion in revenue. That's 12% above the previous year. You made $4.6 billion in profits. And your CEO, Tom Wilson, last year was paid $26 million. Now, Ms. Miguel can't get her claim paid out, but Tom Wilson, whoever the heck he is, gets $26 million. That's really extraordinary. Do you not have the money to pay people like Ms. Miguel? Why is she not a priority, but Tom Wilson's salary is?
We paid Ms. Miguel's claim.
No, you didn't. You have given her a paltry sum. Your own adjusters, you said in your testimony just a second ago, you sent out an adjuster. In fact, you sent out 3. And 2 of those adjusters testified just now under oath that your company ordered them to alter their reports against their will, contrary to their advice, and in fact to render them factually inaccurate. That's extraordinary.
I disagree with their statement.
You disagree that's what they said?
I disagree that that's our process.
So they're lying. That's what you're saying.
All right, so that's part of it. I thought I had the longer testimony open. Here's another clip.
Now, Mr. Schroeder, because you were that first adjuster who worked for Allstate.
Oh, this is one of the adjusters he's talking to.
Look at this home. You were a field adjuster deployed for Allstate through pilot catastrophe. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
And you were the first one to inspect
this is the adjuster that he was talking
after
about
the hurricane. Is that right?
Yeah.
And you went in person, I think. Is that correct?
Yes.
And you spent several hours, Ms. Miguel said in her testimony a moment ago, you spent several hours doing a very thorough inspection. Is that your memory also?
Yeah, that's correct.
And how serious would you say the damage was in your own, just your personal recollection?
Extremely, probably the most serious that I saw on this deployment.
Wow, the most serious that you saw
The
on
most!
the deployment, which makes sense given these photos. So you start, if I understand correctly, you start to prepare an estimate for a full replacement of this breezeway right here. Does that sound right?
Yeah, that's correct.
But then you were instructed, you were told by the higher ups, no, we're not going to do a full replacement of the breezeway. So only do an assessment for a partial replacement of the breezeway. Is that correct?
Yes, that's
okay.
correct.
So then you start working on that, and you're working to get as big of a damage claim as you can for Ms. Miguel in line with the facts after you've already been told, no, we're not going to do the full thing. And then before you can even complete your work, you're taken off the case. Is that right?
Yes.
Why do you think that happened?
Because insurance companies
was told
suck.
It was due to time.
By the way, I am fortunate because I actually had a good experience with my insurance company after we had major hail damage to our roof. My insurance company sent the adjuster out there, came at it, boom, did it, done. But the difference is a roof is integral to the integrity of your house. So they kind of have to do roofs. But this, for example, this breezeway that they're talking about, that to them, they think it's optional. But, you pay for insurance to get shit fixed. And so, they should have, the original adjuster probably was right that they needed to have this entire thing replaced. Otherwise, it was probably a hazard to the person. It's kind of like windshields. Like, if you didn't know this, in most states, windshields are important to the integrity of your vehicle. So if you crack your windshield, they're like in Minnesota, they require insurance companies to replace windshields. No questions asked, and they cannot raise your premiums for windshields. It's just one of those things. So anyway, yeah.
I was taking too long, but I don't believe that is the case. I think that Allstate saw from this and my recently prior estimates of being very thorough and complete and going back and forth with reviewers on coverage, that it was going to be a higher estimate and it would be more cost effective to reassign it to
someone who wouldn't do that,
an adjuster that would listen better.
Yeah, and which I told and that's why he's testifying against these guys. There's one more here. Where's the other one? Oh, here's another one. Testimony from the homeowner sharing her insurance nightmare. This is I don't think this is the same lady, but this is another one doing an insurance nightmare.
This brings us to May. 8 months since the tree fell on our house. No significant repairs have been made. Our roofing remains damaged and a hazard to our family. Electrical wires visible, doors difficult to close, fences broken, and much more. As you can imagine, it is difficult to embark on a repair and reconstruction project without clarity on the budget. We are homeowners, not lawyers, not engineers, not insurance experts. We have been Allstate customers for 6 years, since October 2019. During that time, we have paid our bills on time and in full. But when we needed Allstate the most, they failed us. This is no longer about just a roof. It's about the failure of a system that leaves families vulnerable after catastrophic events. We respectfully call on this body for oversight to ensure that insurers are held accountable when they act in bad faith, delay resolution, or make it financially impossible for families to restore their homes and their lives. Thank you for your time, your service, and hearing our story today.
Good for her. Why isn't the Justice Department or State Attorney General prosecuting for insurance fraud? Well, insurance fraud to them is when you defraud the insurance company. This should be, the regulators or whatever should be, they should have a class action on this or something like that, or at least individual. The problem is they know that if you sue them, it costs you so much more money, and they can fight. They have the lawyers to fight all this shit. So yeah, more like a state attorney general would have to go after these in each case. Now let's see. Where's another one? Policy worst day. I think is this the same clip? Hang on a second.
That's not what they testified to. That's not what
the same one. There's another clip here too. This is it. Hang on.
Start with you, Mr. Fiato. So I take it from your statement just now that you don't have any regrets about Ms. Miguel's case. Mr. Keating apologized to Mr. Vertel and promised to work with him to resolve his case. Thank you for that, Mr. Keating. I didn't hear anything to that extent from you, Mr. Fiato. So you think Allstate handled it just fine?
No, I stated in my statement that I regret that Ms. McGall is unhappy with the.
Yeah, well, that's like saying I'm sorry you're unhappy, right? That's I apologize, but I don't apologize. Would you like to apologize to her now? Maybe I just misunderstood her.
I would like to say, is Ms. McGall here?
You go ahead. I'm sure she's watching.
Hi, Ms. McGall. I'd like to say I want to make sure that we get your claim resolved to your satisfaction. And if there's additional information or things
Where's
that we
the
can
apology,
do to
asshole?
work with you, we'll do that.
That's just. But think about this now. Think about this. This is just one claimant. And imagine if every claimant had to go to a fucking Senate hearing to get their claim resolved on something you're paying for. Yeah, attorney generals need to go after these fuckers.
So I noticed that you said in your written testimony, you just repeated it here. Let me make sure I get this right. I'm going to quote you now. We live and breathe our motto, our customer's worst day needs to be our best.
Oh, I thought their motto was, you're in good hands. You're in good hands with Allstate. I can't say it. I can't talk like that guy. You're in good hands with Allstate.
I have to tell you, Mr. Fiato, based on the testimony I've heard today, based on the witness statements I've taken for witnesses, it sounds like to me that it really ought to be amended to say that our customer's worst day is your big profit opportunity.
Ouch!
I mean, we've just heard testimony here, sworn testimony from multiple adjusters that your company ordered them to delete or alter damage estimates.
Okay, so that's the same. It goes into the same thing. That was the quote I wanted, though, where that your worst day is our biggest profit center, you know? So anyway, there we go. All right, let's move on. I got some extra time today, so that's why I wanted to get to that. Couple articles from Gunfox that I'll just highlight here. Apparently, one of the SpaceX new Starship is getting a new launch date as the firm ships rocket to launch site. So apparently this rocket's about to go up. SpaceX has shipped its Starship upper stage ship destined to fly on Flight 9 back to its production facilities under static fire and rolled out the Super Heavy booster for the flight to the launch pad. The movements come as a fresh Coast Guard notice points to May 21st as the earliest liftoff date for the highly anticipated Flight 9. With the upcoming flight, SpaceX will fly the second generation upper stage for the third time in 2025. After both its earlier tests ended in failure, Starship Flight 9 will also be the first test flight that reuses a Super Heavy booster for an important milestone in the test program. And then they're going to stay quiet about the Starship Flight 9 upper stage static fire, but ships super... Okay, so anyway, the latest notice to mariners from the Coast Guard shares that rocket launching operations are scheduled to take place near Boca Chica, Texas on May 21st between 6:30 p.m. and 8:34 p.m. local time. Should SpaceX decide to use this time frame, Starship will launch close to sunset. However, SpaceX hasn't confirmed any launch details about Starship yet, despite the fact that the firm conducted a static fire of the upper stage spacecraft and shipped it back to the production facilities yesterday and this morning local time. So anyway, so they're going to send this big ass ship up and try to put this up in the air again. There you go. Space penises are boring. When do we get some space tech not from World War II? Yeah, I don't know. Also, India has broken its silence about that jet that was reportedly downed by Pakistan-made Chinese fighter. Trigger a sell-off in Dassault aviation stock. On Sunday, India issued its first official response after reports emerged that a Rafale fighter jet, that's a French company, Rafale, part of the country's prized air fleet, was allegedly shot down by a Chinese-made Pakistani aircraft. The unverified incident, which sent shockwaves across defense circles, rattled the investors with shares of French manufacturer Dassault Aviation plunging amid growing scrutiny over the Jets' battlefield performance. Well, guys, you know, maybe if we just stop having wars, your stock would go down too. Anyway, and I'm sure they're pissed off about the ceasefire that Trump helped with. On Friday, U.S. officials confirmed that a Chinese-made J-10 aircraft fired air-to-air missiles at Indian fighter jets. One of the Indian jets shot down was a French-built Rafale fighter, while Pakistan's U.S.-made F-16s produced by Lockheed Martin were not involved in the incident, according to Reuters. Pakistani Defense Minister Khawaja Mohammad Assis claimed that the J-10 was used to shoot down 3 Rafale planes newly acquired by India. Pakistan asserts to have downed 5 Indian planes in total. On Sunday, Air Marshal A.K. Bharti responded in a press conference regarding the same, quote, "We are in a combat scenario and losses are a part of it. All our pilots are back home." That's the Indian Air Marshal. Notably, the Indian military gave no clear answer on this. The incident led to decline in shares of Rafale manufacturer Dassault Aviation. The European listed stock has fallen nearly 10%. Oh, well, if their plane gets shot down, their stock probably should go down because no one's going to buy that shit anymore. So there you go. And then let's see. The other thing he sent me, MIT physicists snapped the first ever images of atoms, capturing them in their free-range state. How much of a microscopic lens do you need to do that? MIT physicists have captured the first images of individual atoms freely interacting in space. The pictures reveal correlations among the free-range particles that until now were predicted but never directly observed. Their findings will help scientists visualize never-before-seen quantum phenomenon in real space. The images were taken using a technique developed by the team that allows a cloud of atoms to move and interact freely until a lattice of light is turned on which briefly freezes the atoms in their tracks. So they're like deer. The deer cross the road and a car comes over, the headlights hit the deer and they freeze in their tracks. Is that what it's like? I don't know. That sounds kind of like that. Finely tuned lasers briefly illuminate the suspended atoms, creating a picture of their positions before the atoms naturally dissipate. So it is like deer. They freeze, and then if you stop, then deer just walk off. So it's kind of like, okay, maybe not just like deer, but anyway, were the atoms being radical? I don't know. Anyway, physicists sought to compare different types of atoms, including bosons, which bunched up in a quantum phenomenon to form a wave. They also captured atoms known as fermions en route to pairing up in free space. Is it like a hookup? A key mechanism that enables superconductivity. So anyway, yeah, so that's pretty exciting that they, for the first time ever, they're able to observe atoms. All right, let me just run through a list of the other articles I have open since I'm running out of time. But I do have the aggregator from Ace of Spades blog, which is my favorite aggregator, available in links today. In issues, a lot of these are, this is interesting. So there's an epic narrative fill going on in the United States right now, according to which is, Democrats. Federal revenues surge 9% despite predictions of decline. That's interesting. Back in March, unnamed senior tax officials told the Washington Post that the rapid demolition of parts of the IRS was going to result in a 10% plunge in revenues this spring. Actual results? Revenue are up 9% compared with the first 4 months of last year. We heard repeated horror stories about Doge's devastating spending cuts too. Actual result, spending is up 7% over last year, which is not good. We need to freeze spending, but whatever. According to the Washington Post, senior tax officials are bracing for a sharp drop in revenue collected this spring, as an increasing number of individuals and businesses spurn filing their taxes or attempt to skip paying balances owed to the Internal Revenue Service. According to 3 people with knowledge of tax protections, oh my gosh, 3 people with knowledge of the situation. Not a specific person in any of those places, just 3 people who are familiar. That's the favorite source of left-wing newspapers here and there. According to the Washington Post, senior tax blah, blah, blah. The story was published on March 22nd. It was widely covered by the rest of the corporate media. So just how accurate were these 3 people with knowledge of tax projections. The Treasury Department's latest monthly report, which came out Monday, shows that from January to April, the federal government raised more than $2 trillion in taxes. That compares with $1.86 trillion over those same months in 2024, instead of a loss of $500 billion that the post-senior tax officials were predicting. Revenues were up by more than $170 billion. Individual income tax receipts alone rose by more than $116 billion, and corporate income tax revenue was $14 billion higher. Payroll taxes were up more than $20 billion. Customs duties were up more than $13 billion, largely due to Trump's tariffs. Do you think the Washington Post will bother to go back and ask those unnamed experts how they screwed up so badly? Not likely. Anyway, so there you go. That article's there. And legal insurrection. Inflation hits we knew this yesterday. Inflation hits a 4-year low and eggs fell 12.7% from March. What about the prices of eggs? Overall consumer prices increased 2.3% from year to year, down from 2.4% rise in the previous month, according to the Labor Department's Consumer Price Index, measure of average changes in goods and services. Prices are still up, but not as much as they've been going up lately. That's the lowest annual increase since February 2021, but still leaves inflation moderately above the Federal Reserve's 2% goal. On a monthly basis, costs rose 0.2% after dipping 0.1% in March. Prices for groceries, including eggs, used cars, and airfares, fell sharply, while medical services and auto insurance and repairs continued to drift higher. So, and then they give a list of other shit that was higher or lower or the same or whatever. Breitbart, cheaper by the dozen, egg prices dropped 18% in April. Yeah, eggs are down to almost pre-Biden prices. Well, now they're not. They're still high compared to... I buy eggs all the time. I eat a lot of eggs. And so I'm very in tune to egg prices. So they have dropped some. All right. Daily Wire, Damme lead. Oh, this is... You might have seen this. Oh, by the way, Selectable, I never gave you...
Yeah, boy!
How you doing? This is wild. Hakeem Jeffries seemed to have made some threats to people. On Tuesday, House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries warned against repercussions for his fellow Democrat lawmakers who clashed with federal agents at an Immigration and Customs Enforcement detention facility at Delaney Hall in Newark, New Jersey. During an exchange with Fox News reporter Chad Pergam, Jeffries repeatedly said, "Well, here, let's just play the clip."
Your statement the other day after there was this incident in Newark, you said they better not touch our members.
Correct.
What happens?
They better not touch our members.
Or if they would try to sanction them here in the House of Representatives.
They'll find out.
What would you do? I mean,
they'll find out.
What recourse? I mean, doesn't that broach a?
They'll find out.
Doesn't that go across?
That's a red line.
How's that a red line? You don't think trying to force your way into an ICE facility, and even it was a mild assaulting ICE or Border Patrol agents is not a red line, Hakeem? Huh?
What's the red line, though? I mean, I know we have this.
It's a red line.
A red line for what?
First of all, I think that the so-called Homeland Security spokesperson is a joke. It's a joke. They know better than to go down that road, and it's been made loudly.
What is red line? What does he mean?
Abundantly clear to the Trump administration. We're not going to be intimidated by their tactics to try to force principled opposition from not standing up to their extremism. It hasn't happened during the entirety of this failed term. It didn't happen when Donald Trump.
Siri, how many days has it been since January 20, 2025? It's been 113 days of this failed administration. What have they failed at? They're getting new wins every day.
Temporarily was sitting high in the immediate aftermath of the election. Do you think it's going to happen now when he's the most unpopular president in American history after his first 100 days? Give me a break. No one's intimidated by this.
He's not as unpopular as Joe Biden was when he left office. Sorry, Hakeem. Not even close.
Dude, no one. And so there are clear lines that they just dare not
explain the line. So anyway, he didn't go on to explain it. He ultimately asserted that it would be a red line as the questions persisted. He took a swipe at the Department of Homeland Security spokesman Tricia McLaughlin, who told CNN that arresting the Democrats in question was definitely on the table pending an investigation. So it sounded like a threat to me. What are you doing, Hakeem? Also, speaking of similar issues, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez warns Trump administration will have a problem if more Democrats are arrested. If Democrats continue to try to push their way through an ICE facility and get arrested, that seems to be an FAFO moment. Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez has warned the Trump administration that they will be in for a problem if they arrest any more Democrats. The congressman issued, and also because the mayor got arrested, that judge got indicted. Grand jury indicted that judge who tried to hide the illegal immigrant. The congresswoman issued her warning in an Instagram video posted on Sunday in response to the recent arrest of 3 Democrat New Jersey members of the House of Representatives during a visit to an Immigration and Customs Enforcement detention center. AOC accused the Department of Homeland Security of public intimidation. Oh, really? That's hilarious, because it seemed to me like the mayor and the 3 congresspeople were trying to publicly intimidate the people working at the facility by throwing around their names and what they do. How dare you? How dare you not let a congressperson in here? That seemed like intimidation, attempted intimidation. Anyway, let's see what Dummy has to say here.
What's up, everybody?
Oh, what's up? What's up?
How's it going?
Nobody cares.
Waiting for some folks to join us.
Why? How long is this
see if
thing?
this is working. Hello, everyone. How's everybody doing?
Okay, how long is this shit? How long is this? Was this a live or some shit? I'm not going to play this. Anyway, if anyone breaking the law is in this situation, it's not members of Congress, it's the Department of Homeland Security. It's people like Tom Homan and Secretary Kristi Noem. Well, she needs to stop even mentioning Tom Homan's name, because that's like this is not the best analogy, but that's like summoning Voldemort, because he doesn't give a shit about what you think. You lay a finger on someone, on Representative Bonnie Watson-Coleman or any of the representatives that were there, you lay a finger on them, we're going to have a problem, she added, because the people who are breaking the law are the people not abiding by it. Is trying to walk yourself into a facility that's a restricted facility, is that breaking the law too? ICE officials claim the Democrat officials, including Newark Mayor Ras Baraka, were pushing and shoving among a crowd of protesters at the Delaney Hall Detention Center last week. Per The Hill, Delaney has become a contentious point in New Jersey, with Trump administration officials saying the facility is critical in its efforts to detain violent immigrants in the country illegally. However, Baraka and other officials argued that the administration has not secured proper permits to house migrants in the facility. Really? Permit this, motherfucker. Anyway, Democrat officials have denied the accusations, with Representative Watson-Coleman telling MSNBC that Trump had weaponized law enforcement. Oh my God. We saw the video. They tried to force their way in and intimidate by saying, we have oversight. Yeah, not really. All right, that's all I'm going to do today, guys, because I got shit to do. So thank you so much for being here today on the Morning Night Live. Let me get these links out here today. I did, by the way, yesterday's links are in the description of the stream from yesterday, video, whatever. So if for some reason one tab geeked out on me and shut down all my windows, but it still showed up in the one tab, so I was able to still share it as a page. So here's today's links. As soon as this thing flips, there we go. Maybe. Come on, baby. Come on. There we go. Copy paste. Here's today's links. That's it. That's it. I got to go. Thanks for being here. I'll be back tomorrow for FTG Thursday, and we'll do some more videos tomorrow because I was going to do some today, but I didn't. That's okay. Got to go. Thanks. My name's PDawgKnight, and I'm out of here. Bye. Hey, this is PDawgKnight, and thanks for watching today on the PDawgKnight channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all the supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cashapp, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm PDawgKnight, and I'm out of here.